Welcome back to the workshop and welcome back to Bertus, our inside man at Ferodo, helping to ensure that you're in control when it comes to the safety of your family and your car. We've been learning about the braking system in its entirety, taking it apart. I've loved that, but also looking at how important it is to look after the overall health of your vehicle and what that translates to in terms of the safety of yourself and your family. Now, it's not just embarrassing to hear the squeal in the traffic. We know heads definitely do turn, but squealing brakes generally mean an indication that something is wrong with your braking system.
Yeah, if you hear any funny noises on a brake system, it means something is wrong. It could be something simple as a wear indicator, screech indicator, indicating that the pads are worn down, time to replace them, or with some instances reflect on the condition of the discs or the pads itself, that there's something wrong that could lead to a failure in due time.
Now, proving that I have actually taken something on board, you've also mentioned how not bedding in your brake pads properly can lead to a squeal.
Normally the squeal starts happening just after you replace a set of brake pads, and it actually goes hand in hand with the way that the pads were bedded in. I brought you a couple of samples so you can actually see what happens when the pads are bedded in on an old set of rotors.
All right, you and I deal far better with practical than theory, which is good.
Over here we've got a brake disc that's been worn out severely after a number of kilometers, and you can actually see the wear lip on the disc itself. And with that wear lip, the contact surface aren't straight anymore, so if you fit a new set of pads on this disc, you can sit with a situation that you've got still the same amount of hydraulic force on that pad, but only partial contact, so you start burning the friction material, and that goes hand in hand with a squeal that end consumers sometimes complain about. I actually brought a pad with that I've taken out of a vehicle after a squeal related issue was raised with me, and you can actually see the damage to the friction material and the way that it disformed on the worn brake disc.
That is shredded. I suppose ultimately we have to reiterate once again, go and get it checked out by a specialist, someone who knows what they're talking about. Now, I have to ask, because I've heard this said by a couple of old school mechanics, that a little bit of copper slip will help the process when it comes to squeaking brakes. Is this something I should be trying at home?
That is a myth. It's something that does not actually assist in taking squeal away on a vehicle. What they're actually doing is putting the lives of that vehicle owner and the family in danger, because you're actually lubricating the back of the backing plate. As soon as the brake system starts working with heat going into the brake pads, that turns into oil and actually run down, making contact with your discs, and ultimately lubricating your braking system.
So I suppose the obvious question is there something you can do when you've established it's not a broken pad or broken disc, you've got the squeal from glazing? Can we come back from that? Is there any way you can fix that?
Sometimes I've seen where you've cleaned the contact area that it actually assists in taking that squeal away, to make sure that you've got a clean area to rebed the pad. But some instances, the pad has been damaged to a point where that the heat has soaked into the friction material, damaging that friction material, and you need to replace the pads.
And ultimately make sure that you get it checked out by a specialist who knows what they are talking about. Well, from one great safety tip, I'm hoping you've got, as always, one to round off today's episode. Anything you want to leave the viewers with?
The biggest safety tip I can tell the viewers out there is never but never lubricate anything on a brake system except the two slide pins. Keep grease or oils or anything away from the areas that needs to stop your vehicle, keeping yourself and your family safe on the end of the day.
Bertus, thank you so much. I've picked up some invaluable information, as always. Hope you guys at home have as well. Ultimately, we just want to keep you in control out on the roads and keep your family safe. So the big lesson today, if you hear the squeak, don't ignore it. Go in and see a specialist. Make sure that your entire braking system is operating as it should be.
You're in control with Ferodo.